All right, so let's go over exponents really quickly. When you first learn multiplication, you probably represented multiplication by using repeated addition in groups. Basic exponent operations can be represented by repeated multiplication. So we're going to repeat multiplication. And the way that it's set up tells us what to do. So we have our B, which stands for our base. And we have the N, which stands for our exponent. So that's our power. So they're always set up like this. Your exponent is going to be small and to the top. So we have the example over here, 4 to the third power. So this means that B is multiplied by itself. So this is in the top right-hand corner. Itself n times. So that means that the base is multiplied 3 times. So we're going to multiply, multiply, multiply. So we have this example of 1 to the 5th power. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 1 is 1. So this one, anytime you have a 1 in it as your base, it's going to stay the number 1. Then we have 3 to the 2nd power. So I'm going to fill in this little information right here where it says, when we say an exponent out loud, we call the number with a power of 2. So like this example, 3 to the 2nd power, we call this squared. So this is really 3 squared. If it has a power of 3, we call this cubed. So let's go through this example. 3 to the 2nd power, that tells me I'm going to write my base 3 times and multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. We are not doing 3 times 2. 2 tells us how many times we're multiplying the base by itself. So let's go ahead and try it down here with some examples. We're going to fill in these little bubbles first to give us that information. So first, any number to the power of 0 is 1. Any number to the first power is itself. And any powers to the power of 10 will only contain 1s and 0s. I'm really only going to show you 2 questions off of here. I want to show you number 1 and number 2. So I want to show you how I do it. First thing I do is set it up in expanded form. So 2 is my base. I'm going to do it 5 times 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. We're multiplying all of these. So I do 1 at a time. 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down my next one. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down my next one. Times it by 2. 8 times 2 is 16. And then bring down my last one. 16 times 2 is 32. So my answer to number 1 would be 32. I do it in a pizza shape so then I don't lose anything and I make sure that I'm multiplying the correct amount of times. Now I'm going to do number 2 off to the side real fast. So 5 to the 3rd power, 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 times 5 is 125. You can break this down and do the multiplication off to the side if you need to. So 5 cubed is 125. Make sure you are not just multiplying 5 times 3 because that would be incorrect. One more thing I want to point out to you super fast is this beware section. Unless your base directly has a power or a negative with it, it has to be in the parentheses for it to be included. So we get 2 examples. Negative 2 to the 4th. Negative 2 stays outside, so my answer stays negative. This one is included in the parentheses, so it's included in the math when you're multiplying. That causes it to be positive because we have an even number of negatives. Pay attention to this. It's not as common as we're used to, but make sure you're following the rules on how to do exponents and you're paying attention to any possible negatives.